Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the What is an Exotical series. So, if you have not seen my first couple of videos about what is an exotical, please go and check those out. So, I want to talk about this again because we have so many more people who have joined this community. Now we've got dozens of other YouTube channels being started, and that's amazing. So basically, an exotical is really, first of all, it's not a race. I just want to make that clear. I think I've said that in every single video. But the term exotical is a terminology that I actually took from Cynthia G and Chrissy's comment section because this was a slang term that they were using against anyone who was not an unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned black woman with 4C hair, broad features. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So the colorism conversation here on YouTube, it was revolving around the perspective of a dark-skinned, unambiguous black woman. So they created the term unambiguous because they specifically wanted exclusivity. They wanted their voices to be heard. They wanted representation. They wanted mixed race women to stop replacing them in terms of like media representation and stuff. And by the way, I agree with that. I think that everybody should have their own safe spaces. And so I created the Exoticals United YouTube channel specifically not just based on who's mixed race, because I've noticed that some people, they think my channel is only for those who are biracial or only for multiracials. That's false. This channel is not called Mixed Race United. It's not called Biracials United. It's not called Light Skins United. It's not called Type 3 Hair United. This is the Exoticals United community. And so the definition that I made up for exotical, by the way, that's literally just a definition that I made up out of my own imagination and just put it into the slang dictionary online. So this is literally, nobody can argue with this because you can't argue with something that I created out of my own imagination. And I specifically did it that way to unite both black exoticals. When I say black, I mean monoracially black, so less than 25% admixture, black exoticals, as well as mixed race, biracial, whatever exoticals. I created this space so that I could prove not just to the women in this community, but also so I could prove to women in the unambiguous community that it is possible for both monoracial black women as well as mixed race black women to come together and have a conversation. So, but what brings us together on this channel is our black identity. This is actually not supposed to be some sort of anti-black channel. We center our black identities on this channel. We feel a connection to our blackness. We're not trying to abandon our blackness. Like if we are mixed race, all we're saying is, hey, I'm black and some other things as well. So what brings us together on this channel is our blackness. But another thing that brings us together in this community is our ambiguity. So here on my channel, I don't care where your ambiguity comes from. I don't care if you are considered ambiguous because of your race. I don't care if you're considered ambiguous because of your features or because of your skin tone. So I've noticed that there's a pattern where in the unambiguous spaces, when they were talking about colorism, texturism, and featureism, they threw all of us into the same category because they felt like all of us have privileges. And you know what? That's fine. We acknowledge our privileges on this channel. I have no need to hide any sort of privileges that I might have been born with. In fact, I feel like if you are born with any privileges in life, you should utilize them to the best of your ability. I don't care if you're born rich, if you were born with a certain phenotype, if you were born beautiful, why not? I mean, you don't have to be something you're not in order to show solidarity with people who are underprivileged. But by the way, being an exotical, according to the definition that I literally just made up just for this YouTube channel, it literally just meant either being mixed or simply looking mixed. And so when I said looking mixed, what I'm talking about is you benefit from isms, okay? So you benefit from colorism, texturism, or featureism. I actually believe that featureism and texturism are more prevalent than colorism. I just think that colorism was more of a trending topic on YouTube at the time that I created this YouTube channel. But if you want to know more about my views on texturism and featureism, please be sure to check out those videos here on this channel. And so some of the new people, you guys may be thinking, wait, so can you be black and be called an exotical? Well, yes, because exotical is just a slang term that I literally made up a definition for so that I could create and market this YouTube channel to attract my target audience. So my target audience would be anyone who does not relate to the content on channels like Chrissy's or, all of these channels where they talk about being unambiguous. You don't even identify with that phenotype, because people may ask you questions like, what are you? Or they may say, well, you benefit from colorism, or you don't have it as bad as me because you look different than me. You have people constantly calling out your differences. People are constantly calling out your hair texture. They're obsessing over your hair. They're obsessing over your features. They think that you are mixed race even if you're not, and they mix all of us up all the time, and this is because of stereotypes. And I know that people are going to say, well, you shouldn't stereotype. Okay, well, I am not trying to stereotype. The problem is other people stereotype us. So the reason why I talked about Horn Africans in particular is because I myself and my siblings as well, we've been mistaken for Habesha, Ethiopian. I didn't even know what that was. But I've noticed that because of these isms, colorism, texturism, and featureism, if you benefit from any of those, you are going to get thrown into that exotic category. Some people may even call you exotic. So the term exotical, that was a term that I had first heard. I had never heard that term until I went to unambiguously black spaces, and they were saying it as like this dumb, idiotic term in order to highlight the ignorance amongst colorist black men. And so I just took on that term. It's basically a troll term that I just made up a definition for. So let's talk about some of the side effects of the exotical movement here on YouTube. Number one, women are embracing who they are. So for the longest time, if you were not dark skinned, you were not allowed to embrace your skin tone because that would be considered colorist. I've noticed that sometimes if you are dealing with your dark skinned family members, by the way, I'm talking about myself here as well. Sometimes if you're dealing with your darker skinned, unambiguous family members and stuff, if you are light skinned and you show love for your skin tone and stuff, people often associate that with you being a colorist. And so a lot of lighter skinned people have been almost bullied out of loving themselves out loud or even giving themselves a skin tone nickname. Or some of us will even try to say that we are darker than what we really are. Like some women will say that they are brown because that's a very vague term. So they will throw themselves into being quote unquote brown skinned because they don't want to use the forbidden L word, light skinned. And so this channel talks about the things that have been left unsaid in the black community. And for those of you who think that mixed black women can't speak on blackness, yes, blackness is a part of your mixed identity. So if you are black and white, blackness is still a part of you. It's not like you just erase the blackness and there's only whiteness. So I talk a lot about fluid identities on this channel. But yeah, so that's one of the side effects of this channel. It's people are embracing their skin tones. People are embracing their hair textures. They are embracing their features. When I talk about featureism, I have a whole video on this, but things like having lighter eyes, having a slim nose, and kind of having the Horn African features are like the best way that I can describe it and kind of give like a synopsis. So basically keener features, so like a thinner nose, maybe thinner lips, maybe you have kind of like a pointier chin, almost like that V-line chin shape. Those are some of the coveted features that I am talking about here on this channel. So another side effect is that a lot of pretty girls have started their own YouTube channels. And so that is amazing. If you like this channel, you're going to love all of the other exotical content creators. There are so many amazing girls who are excellent at storytelling. You guys are going to love them. So be sure to check them out. I can't even think of all of their names at this point, but if you have a YouTube channel that kind of talks about similar things to this channel, please comment down below so that new people who come on here can follow your channel and stuff. So another side effect is that monoracial black women are beginning to embrace their admixtures. So here on this channel, I differentiate between admixture and mixed race. When I say mixed race, I'm talking about those who have 25% or more non-black ancestry. And when I use the term admixture, I'm referring to those who have less than 25% non-black ancestry. So an example of a monoracial exotical would be someone like Tyra Banks. Tyra Banks, in my opinion, is monoracial because she has about, I think, 80 or somewhere like a very high percentage of African. She has less than 25% non-black ancestry, but all of her recessive genes just happen to show up in her phenotype. So she just happened to be born the way she was, with the light skin, light hair, light eyes. And so this channel is targeted towards women who are similar to Tyra Banks. You don't have to have her exact phenotype. You could actually be a darker skinned woman with keen features and, some ambiguity about your look. And what this channel does is it helps you to embrace that admixture, because your admixture that is showing up in your phenotype is kind of like the elephant in the room, where, you are calling yourself black, and maybe you haven't even taken a DNA test, or maybe you are from the continent of Africa, and people don't even identify just based on race and stuff. So you're just kind of like not understanding why people keep on pushing you in and out of blackness, or saying that you don't understand the black experience. This channel is created to target you. This channel is created so that we can address the elephant in the room, which is the admixture, and how for some people their admixture just happens to show up in their phenotype. And sometimes it causes people who have more than 80% African ancestry to have curly hair, kind of like the Glam twins. When I first saw the Glam twins, they looked like Afro-Latinas. They looked like mixed race, kind of darker skin Afro-Latinas. They looked like some of my first cousins. But I found out that they were, 80 something percent black. So they have admixture, and it just happened to show up more strongly in their hair textures and stuff like that. So this channel addresses that. And that's also one of the side effects, though, of this channel in a positive way. It is that women are also beginning to embrace their admixtures as well. So even if they're not mixed race, some women, they are choosing to say, hey, you know what? This is just how I was born. This is how I look. So you know what? If this part of my DNA just happens to show up in my ancestry, or it happens to show up in my phenotype, why am I going to pretend like that doesn't exist? Like if you are 20% Asian and it shows up a lot in your phenotype or something, then I see no problem with embracing that part of yourself. So that is what this channel is all about. It's really about people embracing every part of themselves. As far as the categories that I put on this channel, like when I say mixed race is 25% or more, like all of that stuff that I say, this is just for my YouTube channel. This is only for editing purposes, just to make it easier for new people who come onto my channel. So when you go to the other Exotical channels, they may use different terminologies. By the way, this is just the internet. This is not a cult, because a lot of people, they're really excited about this genre on YouTube, and I'm super excited about it too. But I do want to make it clear to the new people, this is not like some new race that we're starting or anything, because remember, we've got monoracial black women in this movement. We've got mixed race black women in this movement. So some of the other content creators, they might use different terminologies and stuff like that. One of the rules that I have on my channel is I do not identity police, because people want to divide and conquer us, and that's what they've been doing for years. I mean, even if you look at the colorism conversation here on YouTube, for decades, we have been believing the lie that we were all delusional. We thought that we were all delusional. We thought that all of this stuff was just in our heads, but then you guys started sending in emails. I started sharing you guys' stories on here, and at this point, we all are living proof that if you benefit from an ism in the black community, or if you are mixed race, or if you look mixed, you don't even have to be mixed race. If you simply look mixed, or you get mistaken for mixed, or people accuse you of benefiting from isms, that is enough for you to be thrown in and out of the black community. And it's also enough for you to not be able to relate to some of the black women colorism content here on YouTube. And so that's what my channel is created for. It's created for those who cannot relate to the mainstream colorism talking points that have been popular for the past decade or so. I definitely foresee that to be changing, because now we've got very large colorism content creators. Well, one in particular who says she's not even going to talk about colorism anymore. She used to make tons of videos about light-skinned people in particular. She's no longer making those videos because of spaces like ours. And so I'm very excited that we have all these pretty girls in this sector of YouTube. So if you're new to this space, I really hope you enjoy the content. Please follow all the other Exotical content creators. Don't worry about terminologies, because that's really not important, at least not here on the internet. Like, I'm not going to police what you call yourself. I don't care what nickname you call your skin tone. I don't care if you consider yourself to be light, dark, whatever. That's not the point of this channel. The point of this channel is to figure out what we all have in common, not to argue about our differences, because other communities have already made that mistake. So they've already spent all of their time arguing about their differences. And this channel focuses on our similarities. So I don't care if you are from the United States, we've got people from all over the world who are now coming and being a part of this community. But I just wanted to say that. So that's what an exotical is. It's basically just somebody who they look like an other in the unambiguous Black community. So this could be because of your skin tone being lighter. It could be because of your facial features. Maybe you have very light eyes. Maybe you're a darker skinned person and you have light eyes and you have a thin nose or something like that. You have thin lips or, straight hair or something. And maybe you haven't taken a DNA test, but because of how you look, people throw you in and out of blackness. And by the way, this is regardless of complexion. So when it comes to my complexion videos, I do tend to make more videos coming from the light skin perspective because that's my complexion. And so a lot of the darker skinned exoticals have written in, and I have talked about the darker skinned exotical stories as far as like my story time series and stuff. But the reason that I make light skin content is because I can only speak from my personal experiences. And it's also because there was no space for that in the algorithm as far as the colorism conversation goes. But we do have lots of brown / darker skinned women here in this space. Be sure to follow. We've got brown skin exoticals. We've got the exotic brown skin. You guys are all going to comment down below, I'm sure. So yeah, this channel is actually, it's not based on simply complexion or if you're mixed or if you have light eyes or something like that. No, this is supposed to be for all of the women who do not identify with the unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned Black women's colorism content in particular. So if you feel like this content is more relatable to you than the other colorism content you've been watching, then this is the channel for you. If you do not feel like this content relates to you, then please go to one of the thousands of Black women empowerment channels that are here on YouTube. It's funny how people say they want their own exclusive spaces. They tell us to get out of their spaces, and then we come create our own entire niche on YouTube, and then the same group of women will come over here. And it's like, I don't care who watches the channel as long as you guys are all respectful and stuff in the comment section, then I don't care. But yeah, so welcome to the Pretty Girl Club. I hope you guys like the content and let me know what you think in the comment section. Stay pretty, ladies.